Hey everyone, Jeff Lee here from AbelCine, joined today by Jesse Foster, VP of Products over at MultiDyne. A little bit of a different background. I know for those that haven't seen this before, this is actually kind of the integration and rental build area where a lot of our engineers work, where we prep a lot of the multicam projects that we've been working on over the years. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us in. We're excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So AbelCine and MultiDyne have had a great relationship over the years. We've been really able to take a lot of the engineering sort of insight that you guys provide to us, merge with some of the frontline feedback we hear from our clients and even some of our engineering staff that go out on some of these jobs. Right. And today we're really excited to talk about this new partnership. So we are now your platinum partners for cinematic multicam and cinematic broadcast.
Correct.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that and like what that looks like, you know, for those that haven't heard of this exciting announcement.
Sure, yeah, so we're gonna be working closer together on product development and your in-field feedback coming directly to our R&D team. And also you guys are going to be bringing frontline support to the industry, which is going to be a big enhancement. We're deploying more and more hardware, and the amount of jobs that are happening simultaneously, you guys will really help make sure everybody's serviced to the level that we need them to be. So.
Yeah, sure. I mean, certainly everyone knows who's been in the broadcast industry. This is a mission critical, no failure accepted industry.
Time is money.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get redos often for a lot of the sporting events, concerts, award shows, or any of that stuff.
Correct. So yeah, making sure that the projects are engineered correctly from the beginning is fundamental. Yeah. And then the in-field support that you excel at is really going to help put us over the top.
Well, we appreciate that too. And you know, naturally, we've been supporting through rentals for many years now, but this is really kind of a whole company effort between our rental team, sales, service, technology, training, engineering side of things. It's kind of a full holistic
system
view.
Integration, opening up new verticals, you know, continuing to expand in house of worship and enterprise sectors. We both have our eyes on that, and we'll both be working together to synergize and bring the best solution possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, part of that big exciting announcement are new products. So certainly the Silverback Ape, right, that we have over our shoulders here is one of those kind of exciting developments where cameras are now consuming more power, whether it's because the camera itself requires it for all the new high-res sensors and everything that they're doing, or just auxiliary power that these things all require.
Exactly.
So this is very exciting for us because, as everyone knows, the Alexa 35, other cameras like the V-Raptor XL can take or require a 24 volt.
Correct.
And we've always been in a 12, 14 volt system.
Correct.
And now we're looking at the new Silverback Ape that can actually provide that additional power to 24 volt.
Right, yeah, so the Silverback for a few years now has been widely used with Venices and traditional 12 volt systems to take a digital cinema camera and turn it into a studio camera with power extension over hybrid SMPTE fiber. Mm-hmm. But with the Alexa 35 coming on the scene here, we saw that coming, and we have the Ape system, which can power via battery plate, so we can do B mount, native, or we can do Helix, gold mount, or V mount, or there's external extensions via 3-pin if you were going to do some type of rig where it didn't lend itself to being docked on the camera. Then there's a wide accessory power bank where we have two 24 volts, and they have 10 amps between them too, so you can run one at 10 amps or two at 5 or mix. And then we have a bank of 12 volt over LEMO. And then we have a bank of 12 volt over DTAPs, and there's also a 15 watt USB-C connection. So with the amount of accessories that are being hung on the cameras and the servos needed for cine lenses, it's really an unprecedented amount of power that we're bringing to these new rigs.
Yeah, and to your point, the whole advantage of using SMPTE hybrid cable is that you have one cable sends all the signals and power, multimeter, distances. We're talking like kilometers worth of.
Correct. Yeah, I think we could deliver about 150 watts over 4 kilometers of SMPTE hybrid fiber, right, if it's a good cable.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly simplifies the build side of things from the operator perspective.
Yeah, like I referenced, it takes a industry-leading cinema camera and turns it into a studio camera, because what this system does natively is provides 2 channels of intercom, gen lock, time code, return video, multiple program video feeds. So I mean, it really does turn a cinema camera into a TV camera with that remote power capability as well.
And you touch upon a great point, which is of course why everyone's doing this. It's because the creatives, the producers, the clients, the directors of photography, they all really want and they're used to that beautiful cinematic, whether it's Super 35 or large format.
Exactly.
aesthetic, but it needs to work into a usually live or live to tape workflow and establishment, whether you're going to OB trucks or just to a real, to live broadcast. They're able to kind of marry those two worlds together.
Yeah, that's what our system does. The base station can go in a truck, right alongside, or replace traditional CCUs from a Sony or Panasonic, and even the cabling is the same for tally and intercoms, seamless interconnection, and your images are next level.
Yeah, and kind of the beautiful thing is too, for those that have worked on, like, let's say a big arena or stadium, a lot of those are pre-deployed. There's fiber hookups everywhere you go.
Right.
So then no matter where your camera placement is, you can run, like you said, kilometers worth of simply hybrid cable, or potentially utilize the existing infrastructure. It makes it a real simple, more plug and play approach to doing this.
Yeah, so our system, we only use one fiber for all signals, bidirectional. So one tactical single mode fiber, we can run at least 10 kilometers at 12G SDI video. So we can do a true hybrid system where you're running just glass and then hit our HUT 8 power supply, which is the companion power supply for this system, and then do 4 kilometers over hybrid fiber after that. So to your point, a lot of facilities are just strung with single mode fiber, so you just leverage that infrastructure and have that television camera connectivity.
Right, but with the cinematic front end.
With the cinematic front end.
Glass.
Everything it brings, depth of field, 23.98 if you wanted to.
Right.
HDR native, it's next level television broadcast. The TVs are capable of displaying this, and consumers want it. Right. So it's every vertical that we work with. It's like corporate, like I mentioned, like they're doing internal productions, like Salesforce and so forth, and they want the top-notch quality for archiving, and so that's the trend that's happening right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned the tech sector, which is interesting too, because all the tech players in the Bay Area historically, they're all doing their own conferences, they're all doing their worldwide reveals, and it's always, a lot of people may not know this, it's always with cinema front end.
Exactly.
They approach it like a production. It would be no different from, let's say, an award show.
Right.
Like Emmys or Oscars or whatnot. And these companies and these houses of worship, which you mentioned earlier, they're all treating it like every Sunday, every Saturday. It's a full-on show.
It's obtainable now, and these systems make it the choice. I want a 2/3 inch sensor camera, or do I want a full frame sensor camera, and I can have the same workflow. So it makes an easy choice at that point.
Yeah, and then to your earlier point too, the whole idea of this is that it becomes future-proof with, again, historically 12, 14 volt cameras, but now moving towards 24 volts. Whatever the next generation, whatever the DP wants their next project to look, to utilize on the camera side, you're ready for it.
Correct. Yeah, the investment in this system here, it's connectorized externally, so there are no proprietary interfaces or anything. And 12 and 24 volts are the two ranges that these cameras are available in. So this will service any camera that you run across, and it's a modular system, so we can actually enhance functionality by adding new cards. Like we're working on a 10 gig Ethernet card now, HDMI 2.0 cards.
Sure.
Just to protect that investment, where you can actually upgrade it as needed.
Yeah, and every client's different. Some will want 4K, going out, of course, and then some may want a 4K feed coming back for whatever reason. Maybe there's a monitor attached to this, or teleprompting, or return video even. But for some reason, client really demands a 4K in and out. Like, you're able to do that with the flexibility of the modularity.
The modularity, yeah. I mean, like traditional studio cameras could have 3 or even more returns, for teleprompter and talent monitors and such. So we can populate this system to equate that functionality.
Right. Yeah, and you talked about the HUD 8, of course, too, but the HUD 8 is an important part of the new Silverback 8 concept, and that's what's providing that additional power, injecting it throughout the line to give us that.
Correct, yeah, 325 volt DC that then gets stepped down by the 8 power supply here, correct.
Right. And that, of course, would connect to your existing base stations with either the HUT BA, which is the little passive adapter that converts from ST style to SMPTE hybrid.
Correct.
Or even, we've developed cables here, which is just hybrid to ST.
Yeah, just a passive adapter. And then we also have base stations that are natively void of the power supply itself. So it's small footprint, 7 1/4 inches deep, half rack width wide, and single mode fiber out. You can do your 10 kilometer run, or you could have the HUD ape in the same rack and then make your SMPTE run from there. So
Yeah. I mean, again, the idea is really is that if you already have infrastructure, if you have a truck or a studio that you've outfitted, it's not reinventing the wheel. You're taking existing stuff, injecting a few new pieces, and now you can upgrade to whatever the latest sort of high voltage camera.
absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of the sort of that straight, solution, you're talking about the VB.
The
options,
VB
right?
range, yes,
Yeah.
correct. So we can do our VB. Actually, have a visual aid here. So this is a half rack width version. We have a third rack width version. This is 10 card slots. So this product can be the base station for this system. We also can do the camera side with this system. So this lends itself to like the Sony FR7, where it just sits right underneath it. And the APE power capability is being integrated to the VB FR7 as well. So you can have all that connectivity with long reach power extension, the same infrastructure to all your camera types, and just have that homogenized workflow.
Yeah, I mean I think the key word is the workflow and the fact
Correct.
that everything is a homogenized approach, where you could be running operated cameras with a traditional person operating it versus robotic cameras like an FR7
Correct.
or both, which we're seeing a lot of actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of productions are utilizing and taking advantage of both, but now the signal flow is all the same and all the equipment. And
Right.
the chain is the same.
Right, and this system also has gigabit Ethernet and serial data too. So if you're doing like a pan tilt head, so you can still have that robotic capability with the cinema camera as well, and we could facilitate that command back and forth.
Yeah, and then naturally, as we talk about this, there's a lot of options, and there's no one size fits all.
It's very flexible.
Yeah, which is great, and I think that's maybe part of what the Platinum Partners relationship is, that we'd be able to, take a client's needs. If something goes down in the field, we'd be able to do potentially expedited repairs, and just support with existing inventory that we have in our rental fleet. Let's say.
Yeah, I mean, the level of customer support that you guys can bring, just the full range from the rental, from system design, integration, like you guys are a one-stop shop for the high-end solutions, so we're really excited about, taking it to the next level and making sure that your rental fleet is, latest greatest from MultiDyne, and make sure that, your customers, your end users are getting the latest greatest as well. So it's a great relationship that we have. Yeah.
And we're all really excited, like I said, for us to have access, thank you, I should say, on behalf of the whole Able team, the fact that we have sort of literally direct access to you guys and the engineering folks, and just
It's mutually beneficial, yeah, for sure.
that's excellent. Yeah, so Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really great to be able to talk about the Platinum Partnership, also kind of exciting new products such as the VB and certainly the SB Ape, for our universe. So yeah, really appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having us again, man. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Well, I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be sure to catch you on the next one. Take care.